All right, there we go. Okay, so I'll start off, and I just want to say thank you for joining us this evening, your time, afternoon, mine. It's a pleasure and an honor to be speaking with you. And today we wanted to have an opportunity to sit down with you and discuss the situation going on in Guinea Bissau. One, as it concerns to certain issues with food scarcity within the country. And then if you could provide us with any other information about, what's going on in the country in terms of, the transition between administrations, if there's any concerns about the security in the country due to the security in the neighboring near states. So if you could just expound on first the food scarcity and any other thing you think that the audience in the diaspora needs to be made aware of, we greatly appreciate it. But before you get to that, I'd like you to take a moment and just introduce yourself and tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do and what you've been doing, over the past few years. So I'll turn the floor over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Armando Conte. I just turned 60 years old. Last week, I was in Lisbon celebrating that. And I am a journalist by profession. This year would be 40 years working as a journalist. Let me just leave the bus because I think the voice here. There we go. Let me just leave the bus and then start walking and then we talk. All right?
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, it's better because this conversation is very important. So I've been living in London since May 1992. 30 years now, 31 years now living in London. As I said, I did work in my field as a journalist. I worked for the BBC World Service for 9 years until the section was closed down because we now, like Voice of America, Radio Moscow, BBC also is a propaganda. After the bringing down of Berlin Wall, 38 different sections were closed down. And one of them is a Portuguese for Africa, where I used to work. But then I did many jobs as a researcher. I went back to education. I have my degree in social anthropology and African studies. I did a law degree with Middlesex University. I did linguistics at Middlesex University, law degree at Westminster University, SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies. That's where I got my social anthropology degree. And in 2019, I went back to Middlesex University to do my master's degree in global governance and sustainable development. Unfortunately, I didn't finish, even though I wrote all my dissertations, but because of COVID and other hardship things, so I still have those written tests, but I haven't gotten my degrees. But in between that, 2013 and 2017, 2018, I went to Africa to work as a government liaison for the Canadian company for the phosphate exploration in my region. My job was, as for the job's sake said, a government liaison and also community project manager for this big project for the phosphate. Just to remind you that Guinea Bissau has the second best phosphate in Africa after Morocco. So I worked on that project for 3 years, and then the contract finished. I had to leave because of so many things that I'm not happy with, especially some government ministers. Corruption was just amazing, and in that country, I was even fearful for my life. So I had to leave, come back to the UK. Right now, I work with young people in a project for young people, young refugees. So we help young people to transition from semi-independent to independence living. We help them with the health, education, so many things that we do. Now, regarding to my own country, I've been a very critic of the government for the past 3 years because of illegality. But now we have elections. There is a winner. It's a party that I support. The prime minister was my classmate, and I have a brother, my younger brother, who is a minister of education. Minister of education is my cousin. So it's kind of, I have so many relatives in this, and I act as an official advisor to them in many ways. And today is a very important day because I could see today they start going on their promises. Rice, 50 kilos of rice went down. From tomorrow, it's going to be from $30 to $21, which is amazing.
Right.
And the meeting just finished now. Council of Ministers just finished the meeting. And this is the promises at the election. I trust this government because 3 weeks ago, we had a meeting with the leader of the whole coalition in Luxembourg. We had almost 9 hours meeting, 2 interviews and a meeting with them where we set up what we can do. We as a diaspora, our job is going to be, and for example, one of the things that encouraged me is that how do you say that? Before they set up any important things like the annual budgeting, the budgeting, they have to send us the diaspora to see it, not to make any amendment, but just to make aware, to be aware of anything that can affect various sections. My brother, the first decision my brother did last week, 3 days after coming into the power, to the position, he lifted a ban on a very important radio station that has been closed down by not executive power, but some minister just decided that Radio Capital FM has to be closed down because they are critics of the government, and which applauds. So at the moment, everything is going smooth, but we gave them 100 days. That's what I said to them. I gave you 100 days of your governance, and then I can chip in. In the meantime, anything that is going on, we are going to criticize. I'm going to be a critic of yours. So at the moment, Guinea-Bissau is having its best. I believe it's going to be the best government since 2014. Since 2014, because number one, they have a number of genders, number of ministers, women ministers, which is amazing. We have 11. The young people is in the government, very, very young people, which in the past, it seems to be Guinea-Bissau have a ministers of career. There's people that have government ministers since I was in high school, and they're still in the government.
Wow.
Until can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes, sir.
Okay. So until this government, we saw changes, new people, young. Apologies. Someone just went insisting in calling me. Okay. So this government, this Guinea-Bissau government, I believe is going to be the best than the government in 2014 because of what happened, because of the bad management of the former government. Is it sound? Is mine? No. Okay. So the former government who ruled the country for 3 years is really corrupt. I have a friend of mine who's a state agent in Portugal, told me that government minister would come with a bag full of euros, buying houses, cash. Every single member of government, there's no accountability, which this government says is going to repose. This government is going to take people to court if necessary to justify, their wealth. So this is I trust this government. The prime minister, as I said, is a classmate of mine, and the minister of foreign affairs is someone that I really know because we always challenge him in my program that I do on Thursdays. It's a very important educação cívica, civic education. I do with two professors in Brazil, and we always challenge him. And he happened to be the Attorney General for the winning party, now nominated as a Minister of Foreign Affairs. That's what I can say at the moment about this government. We all trust this government. They are taking right decisions. I mean, they could have. Election was won with 54 seats in the parliament. The country has 102 seats in the government. They could have ruled without any coalition, but what they did, there is a very bold move. They invited two parties to have 72 seats now. Now, the reason why they do that, people ask, why you do that? Well, because what they want is to prevent the president at the moment to change the constitution without having those 2/3 of the parliament. So right now, the leading party, the government, has 2/3 in the parliament. The president cannot do anything. As you could see, there's a problem in Niger. And our president is the first person to say that he's going to send troops to Niger. The parliament simply say no. So you can see this is what we want at the moment. And let's wait and see.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. So if I'm just recapping, what you're stating, is that you personally have a good level of confidence in the competence of the current government. And I want to go back to something you said earlier in reference to the food prices for rice, because that's kind of the focus of our discussion here. So you said that it was that there was a meeting where they agreed to lower the price. Now, is this a price per? Is it per kilo, per 50-pound bag? How is it?
50 kilo bag.
50
and
kilo.
this is the first 50 kilo bags. This is the first meeting, Council of Ministers, first one of this government. And the first executive decision is to lower the price of rice and also to lower taxes of cashew exports. So these are two decisions that have been made today, and which everybody applauded. It happened 25 minutes ago through a press conference. And then, all the cabinets decided to come up. Instead of one speaker, all the cabinet came up. And first, the prime minister is the one, which is unusual, is the one who said that, because they're very happy. It's not that they decided to do the word he used. We didn't use dictator. We didn't dictate that. We called the importers. We called the the retailers, we call everybody, we reach this decision. So today is a very important day. From tomorrow, everybody is going to buy rice at a lower price of 17,000 cefas, which is I think it's a $21, 50 kilos from tomorrow morning.
Okay. Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful news, and we're happy to that you were able to share that, and that will greatly impact what we're doing here today. So again, what we're trying to do is aid in providing some relief to some of the villages and to some of the individuals who may be suffering because they have a lack of access to rice and the ability and the lack of ability to pay for it. So that lower price will allow us to what we're able to donate to go further and to impact more people. So that's very welcome news to everybody who's listening to this from the U.S. and everyone who has been participating thus far in this food campaign. So we're glad to hear that. Now, another question that I had, and you briefly touched on this, and it's gonna be a multi-part question, is that the parliament and the new government has convened to make some very significant changes. Has the issue, and this is something that our membership and others in the diaspora are particularly interested in learning, as the issue of dual citizenship or citizenship for those in the diaspora who have ancestry in Guinea Bissau, has that come before this current government as of yet? Is it something that you anticipate, if it hasn't, is it something that you anticipate being discussed in the future, in the near future, or something that probably will have to be, come before the current government once they've been established, they've taken care of some of their higher priority items? What is your thought, if you have any, on the issue of citizenship for those in the diaspora who have ancestry in Guinea Bissau and who aspire to dual citizenship?
Since 2009, citizenship, Guinea Bissau citizenship has been a law with President Malam Bakai Sanya, and we believe it's going to be on stage soon, because it's very, very important. It has to be regulated. You all agree with that, because Guinea-Bissau citizenship illegally has been sold for a non-grata people. I'm giving you that example. Serbia is a part of Europe, but it's not part of European Union. There was a lobby that the government of Guinea-Bissau provided to Serbia in 2014. And as a result of that, what Serbia did, they said, Guinea-Bissau, citizens of Guinea-Bissau, from today on, you don't need a visa to come to Serbia. You only need a valid passport for 6 months. You only need a return ticket. You only need a money to sustain yourself for 1 week, 1 month, whatever. Now, what happened is, you have a flood of Ghanaians, Nigerians, Senegalese, Gambians with a Guinean passport to go to Serbia. And because Serbia is circled by 9 different countries, 8 different European countries, so they can just go there and disappear, they go. Now, the Serbian government has been worried about that. And because our government didn't tell people until I reported that on three years ago, to explain to people that, you know what, if you have a Guinean citizenship, Guinean passport, you can go. But people have been abusing the system. And there are some corrupt officials in the government and also in the embassies in West Africa are selling those passports. In December last year, the Serbian government decided to stop that. Well, until March this year, 2023, when President Sissoko went there, they returned that again. Now, Guinean passports or Guinean citizenship has been an issue since 2009. But it's going to be an issue again because we discussed that with the former prime minister, the former foreign minister, Suzy Barbosa, a brilliant lady, no longer there, but now Carlos Pinto Pereira now is the president, also the the minister of foreign affairs, and it's going to be discussed because we have honorable Guineans, people who connected with Guinea-Bissau, that really are entitled by virtue Guinean citizenship. They make their life very hard, but a guy would come with a Guinea-Conakry with money or something. In 2 days' time, you have a Guinean citizenship, which is unacceptable. So we discussed that in our forum. We're going to discuss that with a foreign minister who is entitled to Guinean citizenship. What's important to people came from nowhere, but has a very, very important contribution for Guinea-Bissau to be given a passport. We have a very horror stories about Guinean passport. You know, ordinary passport, service passport, and diplomatic passport. I myself went to Hungary, the country called Hungary. When I saw the first black MP there, his father's from Guinea-Bissau, his mother is from Hungary. Now, people in Hungary, which is around 30, 35 people, they did not know we have a general consul, a consulate, and an embassy, or sort of in Serbia, in Hungary, until when they detained the consulate. They put him in a police car to take it to jail when he died in a heart attack. And that guy, for 7 years, all the Guinean passport, diplomatic passports, he was doing so many stupid stuff, involved in the politics, and also involved in money laundering and many things. So that's why the government decided that this government, they are going to see who is entitled to. If you have a genuine reason to become a British, a Guinean citizen, why not? It's not to give it to everybody. There's a newspaper in France, you can Google that reported that diplomatic passport, Guinean diplomatic passport, was sold for 500,000 euros in France. We now, who was ambassador there, instead of sending her outside, taking her off, they transfer her to Morocco. So these are collusion that have in the government in the past. And this government saying, we're going to go by transparency, rule of law, and Guinean citizens has to be anyone who's entitled to. 2010, I was invited to do an interview to go and work for ECOWAS. I was about to go to do the interview in Abuja. But something, because I was working for the BBC World Service, I decided it's not worth it. I was told that ECOWAS need 25, that's a position that Guineans should hold, 25 positions as ECOWAS from Guinea-Bissau citizens. And the lady told me, you know what, it's almost full. But what information I had at that time in 2011, yes, there's a 25 guys with a Guinean passport at ECOWAS, but genuinely, only 6 or 7 are Guineans. So Senegalese could come in and buy our passports and go and work for organizations, international organizations like the ECOWAS, PNUD, UNICEF as a Guinean because of the quotas. So right now, the government, yes, I can guarantee you, they are taking that very seriously. Guinean people can be black, white, light skin, Japanese descent, so long as really we know is very good for the country. It's not just people who come and buy it and bypass the country. And some of them, like in Angola and Brazil, the news is people with a Guinean passport are committing crimes, very, very serious crimes. And you can see their names, or whenever they interview them over the phone, over the television, you could see this is not Guinea Bissau citizen. So he bought a passport.
Yeah, so just to expound on that a little bit, and just kind of share, the perspective of people like myself, in the American diaspora who, maybe recently found out that their ancestry traces to Guinea-Bissau. That we may not have we may not be able to, other than being good citizens and good people, we may not have something, to contribute directly, immediately, right? But, with a lot of us, we feel as if this is something that, is a part of the process of healing us, of making us whole, right? Having a connection to the land where our ancestors were taken from. Many of us who don't feel as full citizens, in the lands where we were brought to. We have a deep longing and a deep desire for that connection, and to make that connection, official through, becoming a member of that country as a citizen. So, not to say that we feel it's necessarily owed, but we do feel that we're in a different category, as people who were taken, and have been displaced for hundreds and hundreds of years than other people who may just desire, citizenship in Guinea-Bissau for whatever reason. So, just saying that, is there any special consideration to our unique category, in review of that?
Very, very, very important to ask this question. Guinea-Bissau cannot be different than any Ghana, Liberia, Cameroon. All those people are people who are embracing their ancestors. It's very nice to see Steve Harden go to Ghana and being given a red carpet, and other stars, not necessarily, but are citizens of America, the Black American, because blacks came from Africa, no matter where. I mean, they come from Africa. Now, this is very, very important issue. For the past 4 years, I've been into this issue. Maybe the case of roots of Guinea, those in America, are not well argued in Guinea, right? And I hope with this meeting we have, and my brother here in the Gambia, also with the job he's doing, has been recognized. There's a place in Colombia called San Benedito de Planquet. Oh boy, you heard of the guy called Bencos Biojo. Bencos Biojo is the first slave to liberate. No, is a slave to help liberate the first country in America. That's in Colombia. And they happened to be a slave, came from Bijagos Island in Guinea-Bissau. Now, my brother married a Colombian, went to Colombia, was discussing with some people, just talking about, oh, from Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau, really? Guinea-Bissau? Wow. We have a festival in Palenque, San Basilio de Palenque, who honors the slave that liberated the first country in America. It's called Domingos Biojo. Came from Guinea, Portuguese Guinea in 16 something. My brother couldn't believe it, and when we did a research, we found out that is a story. And I said, "Whoa, what's going on?" My brother made himself a musician. He partnered with 3 people. They went to Colombia to participate in that festival. And that year was the 41st year of the festival. Guinea-Bissau never been to that festival. Now, at that time, the Secretary of State of Culture used to be my classmate. So we spoke about that. He said, this is opportunity. There's just Google it, Bencos Bioho, San Benito, I'm going to send you the link. You see the big statue of this guy there from Guinea Bissau. Now, these are the things that I always, for the past 4 years, been arguing. And when the Secretary of State decided that he's going to take 29 to 39 people to that festival, there was a coup d'etat. They took them out of the government. Now, guess what? His wife is a new Minister of Sport and Culture. I met his wife last week. Indira Cabral happened to be the daughter of Amilcar Cabral. Yeah. The daughter of Amilcar Cabral, the last daughter of Amilcar Cabral, the leader, the great Amilcar Cabral. And I spoke to her. We exchanged number. I spoke to her about many issues, including these people that did a DNA test that really want to go, albeit in a very, very symbolic way, to go being recognized there. And I think my brother is also doing that same things. So I'm going to share with him the contact. We're going to make that contact there. And there are so many things that now Guinea-Bissau really needs. So many things. I traveled to many countries. I traveled to Uppsala in Sweden to get the first ever, what's the name? First ever, oh boy, what's the name? The thing that you put on the letter to send? Stamp. Yes, first ever stamp is in Sweden because someone took it there, and we're trying to argue for that to go back to Guinea. But Guinea-Bissau doesn't have a museum. When you take it, where are you going to take it? Mário Soares used to be a president of Portugal. He has a foundation with so many things from Guinea-Bissau that needs to go back, like what happened to Benin with France recently. You know, taking statues back. Gungunyana used to be a fighter from Mozambique. When he died, they took his. Well, he died in Madeira in Portugal. They took his body back. You know, and so many things that we want to emulate. I think the most important right now for me, I prioritize it, is your organization to be recognized and to have a fully access, because I know your contribution is fantastic. I've seen what other people are doing in Liberia, in Ghana, in Cameroon. So you cannot be exception on that one. You can bring, you can attract not only businesses, but also projects. And I know that can happen. So after we finish, what I can do also is to share with you the phone number, private phone number for Indira Cabral Mbalo about this issue. Because she asked me, she told me, among 2 other people there, I need your help. Suggest anything that you know is very important for Guinea-Bissau. That was last Sunday in Portugal when I met her. So Ian took some pictures and I publicized it. So yes, your question is, in fact, in the past, it was really, really bad sold, who was bad publicized. People think, okay, it's just adventure. People think, oh, it's just, people are kidding. When we saw in the report, Whoopi Goldberg found out that his DNA is with a papel in Guinea-Bissau. Or the guy who did Black Panther, you know, says he's from Jola tribe, which is a very noble tribe in Guinea-Bissau, the Jolas. So we have to take advantage of this. And myself, I committed doing that, not as a journalist, but as a researcher, is to go through this and then help. At the moment, I have almost 100,010 followers in the different platforms. So everything I publicize right now, minimum is 4,000 people watching it. So, you know, having a connection in the government, I know that my contribution really, it is going to be very important. Yeah.
No, thank you very much. So I just want to follow up on something you said. So you said when people heard about you know, Black people in the diaspora, African Americans who have traced their ancestry to Guinea-Bissau, they didn't necessarily believe it was accurate or serious, or they didn't trust the science. Is that how it was, that news was received in large part by citizens and people and government officials in the country?
No, not necessarily. Because of technology, is the way the government, the way the people of Guinea-Bissau receive it.
Right.
Now, we are medium of communication is a television and radio stations. For the past 3 years, the radio station was a stooge, was a tool for the government. Never publicize anything important apart from the government's activities. Now, my brother, the first decision he made, the very first decision is to unban the radio station, but also now, the new is today they want to nominate the new director of television, national television, which is going to be really focused on issues like this one. It's not like a Brazilian novelas, always Brazilian novelas, Portuguese football. No, we don't need that. We need people to know our country. I mean, the television in Guinea-Bissau, the only one. We hope we have 3 or 4 or 5 like other countries. It's the only television in the whole world that's not broadcasted on satellite. It's the only country. You have Somalia in the war, you have other countries. But Guinea-Bissau is the only television of Guinea-Bissau, is the only television in the whole world not on satellite. We can see the television abroad here through Radio France Inter, Radio France International, which is ridiculous. Today, technology is so advanced. In your bedroom, you can have a television station who's broadcasting online. And Guinea-Bissau, I don't know why it did happen. And we are very rich. Guinea-Bissau is extremely rich in terms of culture. Only Balantas, for example, you can do 10, 20 programs and sell them. Television can be self-sufficient. This is what I told my brother. You know, should liberate these people. Have so many materials. He told me that you're going to help me. Say, yes. You have to have production companies go into the villages and shoot programs and sell them, like what I did with the Japanese television. A Swedish guy filmed 15 minutes of women in the Bijago Islands and sold it to Japanese television. Because they bought the rights, what they did, they sent their correspondents in Ivory Coast to go to Guinea-Bissau to shoot the same scene. And you're talking about one particular tribe. We have 24 different tribes. Each one of them have a different way of life and so attractive, so beautiful. So the problem of roots of Guinea-Bissau is not the way it done it, is the way that the government, portrayed it and received it. Maybe the spokesperson there wasn't straightforward in the issue, because I know something had happened there, you know, which I know, right? You know, when you talk about this particular cause, noble cause, you talk in general, don't take it as individual. I believe this happened in the past. Right? So it should be the entire people that did it, you know, showing the value, showing the example what these people are doing in a different countries. What the government did to them as well, because it has to be reciprocal. What the government did to them, you know, passport, for example, passport is a noble cause. So I hope, and I'm sure, this new government is going to take this very closely and is going to consider it. I can guarantee you. The name of the minister is Indira Cabral, and Balo.
We got that. We got that on record. Also, so if I think that hopefully this is going to reach the ears of a lot of people. This discussion, this interview, and there are a lot of celebrities, famous people in the United States who have traced their ancestry to Guinea-Bissau. You said the late Chadwick Boseman and his family. Charlemagne the God, who's a radio personality. Jackie Joyner-Kersee, the Olympic champion.
Wow,
Yeah.
the Olympic champion.
Yeah, she's Bolanta. So the list goes on and on. People in entertainment and sports, and there's so many more who have yet to test, but that perhaps will find out that their ancestry is from Guinea-Bissau. But if you could ask someone, who may have a large platform or the means to make an immediate contribution for something, very specifically that they could do for Guinea-Bissau, what would that be? What would that be? That one thing or several things? What would you ask, say, a Tom Joyner or Jackie Joyner-Kersee to do on behalf of Guinea-Bissau?
Well, I'm not going to put myself on the spot.
Right.
I have one of the most interesting programs on social media in Guinea-Bissau. We speak about civical education. We talk about issues related to Guinea-Bissau. We talk about music, current affairs, and politics and sports. My program is widely seen, and advantage I have to have those people on my platform is that because the interview is going to be in English, which most of my colleagues don't speak. So my platform is there for us to do these interviews if it's necessary. But it's going to be an honor for me. It's going to be an honor for me to host this kind of set, to know that they are Guineans of background or the historical, root through DNA, that really now that there's a country called Guinea-Bissau. I've been living here for 31 years in UK. If you say Guinea, people think about Equatorial Guinea, Papua New Guinea, and to have such honorable, such important personalities to come and then say, you know what, my background is from Guinea-Bissau, is such an honor, not just for the country, but for me as someone who introduced that thing. It's going to be very important to see, because this new government is really very good. It's a technical, is much more, it's intellectual government. The prime minister is an economist and the physicist, if you say this. It's a very brilliant the president of the National Assembly, Domingos Mosquera, was considered the most important politician of his generation, African politician in generation, in the past 9 years. He's educated in Russia, and then degree in America. So he spoke fluently Russian, Portuguese, French, Spanish, all these languages. He's a very intelligent young man. So I happen to be from my own town, my own village. we grew up together. A very intelligent young man. So all these people, the government, if you choose the government minister, 31 or 32 government ministers and secretaries, one by one, each one of them is educated. Each one of them educated. Contrary to what happened in the past, it's just amazing to see a government minister cannot even speak Portuguese. But because of political favors, they put that person in that position. There's no moral, even moral, with them. In the past year, the country was run without National Assembly, which asked accountability for the government. They don't do it. They built a small, it's only what, 500, 600 road, meter road, and they ask for, I think it's 37 million euros. No one is there to ask them, how did you get that with this account? There are so many things that happened in the past year in Guinea-Bissau with accountability, which is amazing. Now, with this government, what the Prime Minister, the National Assembly President told us in Luxembourg, you know what? I'm not going to be a Prime Minister by virtue, because in Guinea-Bissau, the winner of legislative election, the party, automatically the president of that party would go to Prime Minister. He said, I'm not going to do it. But let me tell you one thing. Everything that goes wrong in this government, you accuse me. I'm not going to be Prime Minister. Again, I can tell you that. This is a meeting that we had in Luxembourg. But I can guarantee you, everything that goes wrong in the next 4 years, you accuse me. Put fingers on me, because I know what I'm going to do. So we've seen things are going now, makes everybody happy. Even the people who are against the government, they start saying, let's give them a chance. Yeah, things are going according to that. And these are the things that are going on right now. So again, the situation in Guinea-Bissau is going to be better and better. I can guarantee you that.
Thank you. So I've asked a lot of questions, so I want to pass it over to Nicole and Mario. If they have specific or direct questions for you, I'll turn it over to them.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, I was just sitting here enjoying the talk. I learn something every time I get on this call with you. So I really, really appreciate the history lesson. It's amazing. But I did come on late, but what is this new government's, what direction are they going to go in the way of education?
Oh boy, that is a very important. The country that doesn't have education in the past 3 years, doesn't have a school in the past 3 years. But they say Guinea-Bissau priority is everything. The biggest hospital in Guinea is in Senegal. Yes, you heard me. The biggest hospital in Guinea, the best hospital in Guinea is in Ziguinchor in Senegal, in Casamance. There's no school in the past 3 years. There's anger, there's a starvation. The roads are horrible. Guinea-Bissau has the most expensive flight in the whole world. I went to Japan, I spent £400. From Portugal from London to Japan is 12 hours flight. Lisbon to Bissau is 3.5 hours. It's triple of that price. So everything is a priority in Guinea-Bissau, but education became one of the priorities. As I told in my first meeting, the Minister of Education happened to be my cousin. So if I say my cousin, his father and my mother are brother and sister, same mother and same father. So it's someone that really knows education. Someone who's been a teacher in Cuba. Most of the people in the government used to be his students in Cuba as a scholarship students in Cuba. So education became something important there because of what happened the past 3 years. They never put the right person in the right place. And this time, yes, they put nail, like they did with the Secretary of State of Communication, my brother, who's a journalist in his career. And education became a thing number one. So they guarantee that in September, the school is going to start. Domingos Simões Pereira is right now in Europe, is doing his tour as the leader of National Assembly. Is doing contact. One of the things that I heard, which made me very, very happy, is to unblock the $1,500,000,000 from the meetings in Brussels in 2015. That's the meeting of the donors meeting, 2015. Something happened that we thought that would be, yes, Guinea-Bissau, this terror rankamin, the country is gonna start running. This would happen there. They went to a conference of donors with a budget. They're asking for $500 million. When they did their presentation that day, March 2015, what Europeans and the donors decided, say, you know what, we can give you more than that. We give you a triple of the money you're asking for. We give you $1,500,000,000. And I was there. I was very happy, very honored to be there. When we came out of EU Quarter General, we saw all the flags in half-mast, Guinea-Bissau flag up. That's what we thought, okay, the country now is going to run. We're going to go. But 3 months later, by reason but people don't understand why, that government was booted out. And at that particular time, when we went to the donors, Guinea-Bissau was, according to Mo Ibrahim Foundation, the poorest country in the world. 17. But when that government went down, we came back to the 4th country more poor in the world. So until today, no one explained to people why that government went down. There is a nepotism, corruption, and so many things that never happened. So in Guinea, people take decisions without being accounted for. And I'm sure, I can guarantee you this, according to the meeting we have in Brussels, in Luxembourg, the dossier that brought down that government in 2015 is going to be revealed. It's going to be made public. It's going to be made public, where people lie, people made false allegations. For the best government we had ever was in 2014, 2015. And I'm sure that this one is going to be better than that. So answering the question, education with health, with cashew issues are really on top, but everything is priority in Guinea-Bissau. But I can guarantee you, like in the last 3 years, there's no public school, only private school. Those who can afford, they send the people to school. But this government now, they are already hit the ground running because school is going to start in September. And one thing that also I'm sure that they're going to do is to have a public university. Guinea-Bissau has 5 universities. None of them are public. So they are all private. And this is going to be, they're going to have it. And apart from that, high school in every single region to have a high school. These are the plan for the next 4 years. But the starting of school, yes, is going to happen in September, unlike the other positions that happened in the past.
Good to hear. I'm happy to hear that. I'm hoping in the future maybe we can get some of our members that can help with education. Those that are educators can come and help with that process too. So I'm glad to hear that. But that's pretty much the only question I had at this time. I'm just really enjoying and learning. So I can pass it to Mario. Available. Thank you.
Mario.
For you, Kevin.
Mario is in Gambia or is in Guinea?
Mario, you still with us?
I think Mario left. No,
Okay,
Mario's still
there he
in.
is.
Still in. Mm-hmm.
Can you hear us, brother? Mario.
Is in.
Hey, Mario. Do you have any questions or anything you want to add to the conversation at this time? Armando asked, were you in Gambia or are you in Guinea?
Oh, can you all hear me?
Yes, Mario, my brother, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. I'm in Gambia. So hopefully I'll be leaving next week. So
Don't forget
yes,
to visit Miro.
Yes, I remember we discussed about that a few days ago. So like Uncle I like what Uncle Armando was saying. I think this new government, their priority is cost of living, schools, and health. How the government can move forward. So I talked to Uncle Armando the last day. I explained him the entire situation about African Americans reconnecting back to their roots, which is Guinea Bissau. So our concern is this: we want the government to recognize us. We want the governments to take full responsibility to welcome these people back home and give them a citizenship. So I explained Uncle Armando because this process of citizenship have been like 2 years. But I remember back to his word. He was saying that it's depends how we introduce this situation to government. So which reflect back towards brother Sepiwe, who's always talk about his all ethnicity all the time. But when you are dealing with the government, it's not supposed to be like that. So we understand that. So I explained Uncle Armando the roots in Guinea Bissau have its own vision that where we work together with all ethnicity. Either you are Balanta, Fulani, Manjapo, Pepel, Brim. So they are all under umbrella of Roots Guinea-Bissau. So when they arrive into the country, we will help you go to your respective village and connect with your ethnicity. But we are coming back home in one name, that's Roots in Guinea-Bissau. That's Guinea-Bissau. So Uncle Armando also he saw me a lot of opportunity. Like we're gonna meet this new minister that he knew. One of the minister you happen to be his brother, and the other one Dira Cabral happened to be Amica Cabral youngest daughter. So the government, I have a feeling of that everything will be perfectly okay with this new government, with their initiative just to keep pushing for them to knowledge of this citizenship that have been pending for the past 2 years. My network is bad in here. I don't know why. It keep screaming.
We are hearing you properly, very well.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So
Loud and clear.
So this is what I was this is what I discussed with Uncle Armando the day before we even have the Zoom call. I explained everything to him, in full details, so he understand perfectly. So he will guide us how we can implement this vision and also how this new government will see us. That's the most important things right now.
All right, thank you, Mario. So a couple of questions. I know that a couple of just quick personal questions.
Yes.
Just for our audience and our members who may just want to know if and how they're connected to you. Uncle Armando. Could you tell us what village you're from? You mentioned your village. Which village is that you're from?
I was born in Olosato. Olosato is a section in in Oyo region, Farin. That's where the president of PAIGC was born.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm working as it's not a lobbyist, but to organize the MPs of each region. What I want, because the problem in Guinea-Bissau in the past few years happened the misperformance of National Assembly. Now, what I tried to do, I did it in 2 regions already. I did in Farin and also in Olosato. MPs from different parties, I asked them to join together to hire a venue, a place, an office in one particular town where they employ someone, and that person is going to be a bygone, it's going to be a liaison between them and the people that voted for them. It never happened before. Because people go to the parliament, they sat there for 4 years without never. If you could unmute your microphone, would be fantastic. Yeah. All right then. So people go to the parliament, they stay there for 4 years until the end of the legislature. They never go back to the villages where they vote them. So my initiative is to ask people from different party from the same area where they voted for to hire an office, to put someone there in order for them to explain, to reach the region, the people that vote them, and then give them a feedback in order to perform the National Assembly. Now, my section, also where I was born, the promises of 2019 election have not been fulfilled. Now, the MPs now, 3 MPs, I know them very well. I lobby for them. I do campaign for them, and they won. They're from 2 different parties. All of them are my friends. And I propose them that they accepted. And I hope the work is going to start now in my area. So my section, the area I was born, is the 3rd largest voters in Guinea-Bissau, Oyo. So you have Bafata, Gabu, and Oyo. And in my own village, that's where you have these 3 MPs. So I'm a countryman, came from countryside, even grew up in a big city, but I'm very proud of the area, which still, there's no light, there's no electricity there, there's no running water there, which is a very sad. When I go there, the first thing I happen to have when I go there is a battery for my radio, because I don't want to miss news. It's a very small, very humble region, extremely rich in agriculture tradition. It's called Olosato. Yeah, if I could do anything there, I could help to have a better schools and running water, and to boost agriculture in that area.
Thank you. And I just have one final question, which kind of relates to what you said. Get back on camera, sorry. So you mentioned earlier in the interview, I believe that, if I heard you correctly, that Guinea-Bissau was rich in phosphate?
Phosphate.
Okay.
I work on it. Yes, your question is?
Yeah, so my question is relating to that. Could you just explain, because we know and we always hear about all of the great wealth and mineral wealth and that's potentially in the country Guinea-Bissau. as well as all over West Africa. If you could just kind of detail and elaborate, what are some of the other minerals and some of the other resources, untapped resources in the country of Guinea Bissau that could aid in it's a vast transformation or revitalization if it were to be properly extracted and the country to be properly compensated for the resources that exist there.
You rightly mentioned unattracted. Guinea-Bissau, we haven't explored more than 8% of our potentials. We have a phosphate that's been discovered in 1956 by the French, who happened to be looking for the petrol. And in 2006, they started exploration by the Canadian company. I was hired to go and work as a PR consultant and the government liaison in 2013 on the same company. It happened to be the second best phosphate in terms of quality in Africa after Morocco. But believe me, 2006 until today, we still haven't explored it. We still have extracted. They're still in exploration, taking samples to America, taking samples to Canada, but they haven't started yet, which is sad, very sad. And we end up believing that it's a kind of money laundering going on there. Because at one stage before our arrival, they brought drivers from Zimbabwe to go and work in Farin in the phosphate. When I went there, I discovered so many documents. It really was a shame for the people who ran the place before. Private jet would come and collect an individual, take it to a castle in Austria. And so many things happened there. But Guinea-Bissau is extremely, extremely rich. Our fish, only fish, is enough to feed, the country to have a minimum age for everybody. The enough of fish that we have in our sea. We have a petrol. You know about that recently there is an issue between Senegal and Guinea-Bissau where the Senegalese, they're already planning to explore the petrol in our shores because our president gave them green light to do it. On the 9th of September, this London, we're going to host a professor who wrote a book about that contention between Senegal and Guinea-Bissau. It's called Professor Milukaf Costa. He wrote a Bible, that's a Bible, about conflict, about border conflict between Senegal and the Gambia. And the Guinea-Bissau, Senegal and Guinea-Bissau. So on the 9th of September, I am going to be one of the people to host that launch of the book. I just put it on my page now. Right? We have bauxites. We have a black sand, which Russians were exploring sometime in the south. So they say we have a mine, we have a gold. I don't know if that's true, but these are the four things I'm telling you: phosphate, petrol, black gold, black sand, and bauxite. These are the things that we have. Now, you ask about. I think my sister asked me about where I was born. I was born in a region called Oyo. Recently, someone was telling me about a plan again to relocate the city because of the phosphate. And phosphate is very good for everything, for agriculture, for animal, for technology. It's a very, very important mineral. So it's still there, that place. I worked there for 3 years. And now the license is being changed 4 times. Now the Australian bought a license. When I was there, Canadian had a license. Russian came and bought a license. Now, which people may think, okay, hold on a minute, something fishy is going on here. Because the phosphate on farine is in Canadian, how do you call that? The market thing? The market? Market, like, I can hear you.
The stock market?
Stock market in Canada. Yes. Stock market in Canada. So, but we don't benefit from it. No one benefits from that. When I worked there, I told them, listen, you have to educate people. You have to have a social enterprise. You have to send people to school. Instead of bringing drivers from Zimbabwe, you should educate these people there. I've seen people there that heard of phosphate when they were born, and their grandson still there without any health, any education, which is contrary, because by law, by Guinea Bissau law, when you are in 2 years of your activities, you should have fund. You should have a fund for community to help those communities. You know, my job is to explain to them what is impact when they start exploring the phosphate. Will relocate the entire village somewhere? We don't know. But it's a connection those people have with their land. I live in London. There's a line here called Jubilee Line before the Olympics. When they're excavating that, they end up finding an historic cemetery. The whole activities stop for 2 weeks. They move that cemetery brick by brick, bone by bone. They construct it somewhere else. And with those people, what I saw, what upsets me, they just want to ask them to pack and leave. They have their cemeteries there. They have their traditional space down there when they worship. You know, you should respect them. So these are the things that happen in that particular place, in Salikenye, near Farin, for the phosphate. So just to wrap up, Guinea-Bissau is extremely rich. Extremely rich. But we still haven't taken out all those things that happen when you see the petrol being negotiated. The former prime minister went to National Assembly when everybody was listening. It's just amazing. He said, yes, we signed a contract with Senegal 14 months ago. This is a dossier. They're confidential. Everybody was amazed that he said that. When the minister in Senegal said we signed the contract, they fired him. So this is a situation of our wealth. We're so extremely rich. We have not explored even 9 or 10% of our potentials.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you for that. So
you're welcome.
Yes, no, I appreciate your time and
you're welcome.
You know, that pretty much wraps up all the questions that I wanted to get with you and get a perspective and an answer on today. So No, we greatly appreciate you joining and sharing everything you shared.
Thank you. Thank you.
This last time. I'll turn it over to Mario and Nicole if you have any additional words or last comments or questions.
No, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for explaining a lot of things. I always learn a lot when we're on the call with you. So again, thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome, and thank you for having having me to share my experience about this wonderful country. Oh shit.
We may have lost our brother. Okay.
I think so.
Just wrapping up. So Mario, anything you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I just want to thank Uncle Armando for a special time that he make to have a courage to be with us here and brief us about everything that are happening and everything that are about to happen, and explain how rich our country is, because I used to hear about it, but from his experience, because he used to work as a phosphate company with this Canadian, that's a proof of me to realize that this is something true, because people have been talking about it, how wealthy Guinea-Bissau is. Because it's 2002, I remember when the president of Senegal, that's Abdoulaye Wade, was telling Kumbayala, the former Guinea-Bissau, the late president of Guinea-Bissau, he was telling him that you don't need to go to these donors to give you money, because they're not going to give you money. They not trust your country. They not trust your government to give you money to do any development. So, but only with your fish you can be able to develop your country and do everything that you need. You just need to have a. You just need to close your sea. The people stop stealing your fish. That's the only way that you will be able to achieve your development and goal. Because I can see that you already start doing something in the country. People are very excited. You give a privilege of schools, roads, and hospitals. So these are the things that I'm aware of. But today, Uncle Armando has clarified everything. And also, is my concern is about the fundraising that I talked to him first time. That I see in the United States part, I think we need to do it globally, worldwide fundraising, so we can help our people back home in Guinea-Bissau. People are starving. Some are dying, not even dying dying with hunger, but some are dying very badly in some part of the country. People have difficulty to have food to eat. Very, very, very disturbing situation that are happening right now. So in my view, with us collectively, and I talked to Uncle Armando about it. So you have a media power, that also how the diaspora in Europe can join us. At least this is gonna be for the first time entire diaspora in Guinea-Bissau looking back home, trying to save the situation that people are living in right now in the country, because this never happens. I only see it here in the Gambia. I only see it in Senegal. I only see it in Sierra Leone. But we can change that situation. We can be the first people to speak out to change to change the entire situation that happens. And then with Uncle Armando and with his other colleagues in different parts of Europe, we can do it. It's not that it's difficult. We can, if we join hands, we can do it. If we join hands together with the others, we can do it in an easier way. But if to remain only us, it's not, we cannot move it fast. If we try to move it though, it's gonna slow. And we try to move it with ourselves, we're not gonna reach the numbers that will satisfy us even through our heart. So that's the reason why I said this meeting, it is very important. So we can do something differently. This is the first time a diaspora are coming up in a massive way, trying to look back to their own people. So because remember when we started this food distribution during the pandemic, people are asking, who are these people? Who are these people? They're doing great. So I want that the same thing to repeat, but this time in a bigger number, because the entire country is starving. That Uncle Armando knows about it. That's no buyers to fly into the country to buy these cashews. We are already in the raining season where all this raining flooding all over the country, these muddy roads, nobody would drive his car to go there and get your cashews. That's not even buyers. So when there's no buyers, which means there's no rice that imported in the country for you to sell your cashew and get rice. So the situation is very, very devastated right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. So with that, I appreciate everybody's time this afternoon, and we appreciate getting the information and the message out. And like Mario said, just to recap, this is again the primary purpose of this call, in addition to the information that we got, was to inform everyone about our food drive, the food scarcity issue. Ask for your support and your continued help and donations in reaching that goal. So I'll leave everyone with that. So thank you all, and until next time. Bye.
Bye.